Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is about my fair and just and right judgment against the inhabitants of the earth according to their deeds. And we all know which groups are the most responsible for evil in this world. Now, first of all, you need to understand when it comes to my righteous anger, moral outrage, righteous indignation, I'm right. Okay, I'm fully aware that there's cute little kids out there. There's old people who are more friendly than others. I'm fully aware that there's a spectrum of evil, and that some people, they see themselves as being kind-hearted if for nothing else, and there's some truth to that. People are judged according to their deeds. Every one of my judgments is always by default according to their deeds, their individual deeds, the deeds of the group, and how the individual relates to the group. Okay, for example, I'm American, and I pronounce judgments against every nation in the world, especially America. Now, obviously, I'm God's son, so that judgment doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to my parents who are blameless. And it's to everyone according to their deeds. It saddens me. I'm fully aware that, America's always in a war or some kind of Cold War or some kind of proxy conflict. And there's people whose job it is to give me a hard time for bringing it up. And that's part of what kind of overkills that I should be harsh. When you know that you got to do God's work, and you know there's people that want to stop you, then you're gonna get angry if you're already angry, for example, right? It says in Proverbs 28, the wicked flee though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion, right? So the righteous are bold as a lion. Psalm 45 says the most excellent of men is the mighty one. New Living Translation, the mighty warrior. So the mighty warrior, the most excellent man, even if you don't believe I'm Christ, believe the deeds, believe the evidence, believe my arguments, believe the truth when you hear it. The most excellent of men, the mighty warrior, in the spirit of the Lion of Judah. It said in Revelation, who is worthy to open the scroll? Who has established the throne in righteousness, in moral might? And it said, the Lion of Judah, he is the one. After they're weeping that no one was found worthy. They looked at the entire planet, the multitudes, and they said, not any of these people are worthy to open the scroll. But it is the Lion of Judah. So I'm worthy to cast judgment on these people, even though they're interfering and sabotaging me. I still know that 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. That's 3 ones. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 4. That's 4 ones. They might edit my videos to confuse you, but I am fully aware of what is logical justice. All my judgments that I give are something that I was capable of giving as a child. I make sure that I don't bite into more than I can chew when it comes to giving a judgment. What is fair? Not in terms of, I'm not afraid to die and so on and so forth, getting beat up or whatever. I'm talking about in terms of what I can logically figure out and explain and convey. What is something that I can make a sound judgment call on? Nobody has tried to help the people of the earth more than I have in human history. Now, for those of you that doubt it, listen very carefully. I'm sure you'll agree that I'm right after I say this. You see, martial arts is the most demanding activity. It's harder than thinking real hard. It's harder than running real fast. It's harder than lifting up a bunch of weights. It coordinates the body in a certain way and exerts the energy in a certain way that really exhausts you. Now, when you're conveying righteousness and you're doing it at world record speed and no one can beat you at sparring, then you're trying harder than anybody who has ever lived. And for that reason and others, focus, moral intensity, universal pinpointing, moral precision, moral courage, what have you, I've tried harder to get people to do the right thing than anybody. I've tried harder to get attractive women to love me than anyone, because we're not talking about being friends. We're talking about someone that I'd be attracted to, okay? That I would pour the Spirit of God into, like a cup of God's love. But instead, they chose sexual immorality spiritually and otherwise. And so the cup of God's wrath was poured into them. To the devious, to the crooked, God showed himself, he revealed himself as shrewd and torturous, and someone that allows people to be tortured, like he allows children to fall out of a building, allows little kids to die in accidents. God is making it clear to you that no matter how harsh you think it is, God will put justice, universal justice, before making sure everybody's flesh is safe. He's making it clear to you that the flesh means nothing, that the spirit means everything, and he can take people's souls anytime he wants and place them anywhere he wants, and he uses the scale of righteousness and justice. So when people were going to draw Muhammad, I didn't think it was fair. I knew it wasn't fair, because that is a symbol to a lot of people who try to be decent, try to be moral. It's a symbol, the idea of him is a symbol of somebody who dedicated his life to God, who you shouldn't insult no matter what. So is it right to draw Muhammad? No. Is it right to mock the righteous? No. Is it right to mock me? Is it right to damn your kids to a world where the righteous one isn't given his rightful place, where people only reproduce wickedness? No. So I gave the judgment call. I gave my life to do God's work. And when I die, I'll be at the right hand of God Almighty. And every judgment that I have given, God knows that it's fair and just and right. God knows that they sought to interfere and my arguments are sound. God knows that I kept saying one phrase that overkills the justice of it. I said, what is your viable counter-argument? One question, rather. What is your viable counter-argument? They have none. They have no viable counter-argument for my arguments about the unfair nature of the mental health system, which I've been talking about since 2011. They resorted to mere trolling and insults. Thousands of videos touching on morality and proper behavior, true, not necessarily proper, divinely proper, if you will, a moral behavior rather. Because let's not confuse that with mere human rules, customs, traditions, and norms and mores. Mere human sentiments and attitudes that create silly rules that are unfair, that are designed to screen out the righteous and anyone who's different, and anyone who tries to be righteous. Society plays stupid while people are screened out, while people are tortured and killed. And one of the signs that it's a mistake that God has allowed to occur is the mass shootings. It is the various forms of violence and rape. They also serve as signs from God that humanity is doing the wrong thing. If that doesn't make it clear, what does, right? You put it in layman's terms. Who are you laying with and why? Put it in layman's terms for you. We see the sex trafficking. We see the child molestation. We see the sexual exploitation. When God is love, God, and God always is, we see it as a math statement. If God is love, and he is, then God despises rape. God despises rape by deception. God despises people setting up his son, trying to make him seem crazy, accusing him of being crazy for delivering God's message, which is true. God's message is true. I'm not crazy. 1 + 1 does equal 2. And 1 + 1 + 1 does equal 3. And some people seem more believable than others for a reason. Sometimes they're the masters of deception. I'm not. I am a master of good, not a fool who masters evil. I don't get paid to do the right thing. I do it because it's right. I live with my parents in the middle of nowhere, while everyone's running around trying to have fun in their satanic spirits. You see, I gave my life to do what is right because I was right. I am right. And my sacrifice seals humanity in hell, as God sent the top martial artist ever to lead mankind, and they rejected him for organized rapists. So I am right. I am right. I am God's sacrifice.